Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 12 of our F1 2001 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Marina Bay, it's come to Formula 1 a little bit earlier than it did in real life, but I thought it was going to be a cool track to add, and I always figured Singapore V10 cars, that would have been certainly a sight to behold. So yeah, I've brought Singapore in ready for this season, and hopefully we can have a good event around this venue. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live towards the end of last week from the Italian Grand Prix, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We are currently 8 points back behind Jacques Villeneuve in the Drivers' Championship, but we've made it through what I'm hoping will be the worst segment of the season for our car. We've got quite a few high downforce venues between now and the end of the season, so I'm really hoping we can try and get our championship back on track. Constructors wise, Williams have got a bit of a healthy buffer, 65 points as we head into this weekend, so we're going to need a bit of a miracle if we want to beat them in the Constructors. But yeah, Heinz-Harald Frentzen as well, let's not forget, just bringing himself back towards contention in the Drivers' Championship. If he can string together another couple of wins, then it is certainly game on between now and the end of the campaign. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs at the moment. But yeah, let's do this thing. Well, of course, we're also tonight on the classic version of Singapore, so that includes the double chicane right towards the end of the lap, so that's going to make things even more difficult for us here, but obviously, hopefully, will actually play into our McLaren's hands there. And I mean, if we can't fight for pole today, then we've got big issues between now and the end of the season, because on paper, this track should suit our car more than any other between now and the end of the campaign. Obviously, the last victory we got was back at Monaco. That was another very high downforce venue. We've just been very consistent, and that has allowed us to keep up with Jacques Villeneuve in the Drivers' Championship as well. They'll still be ahead of the second Williams of Frentzen, but as we try and navigate our way down through the middle sector, you just see the AI. They tend to run a little less downforce around this circuit than I will, so we are a little bit quicker through some of the slower speed stuff. It's just all about trying to keep the car planted as well, not getting too many moments of oversteer and things like that. But David Coulthard at the moment, he looks to be absolutely dominating so far in this qualifying session. No idea where kind of Jacques Villeneuve is, well, in comparison, as drifting the car right the way through that complex of corners. But qualifying pace has not been our strong one this season, and that trend looks set to continue here as we navigate our way in towards these final few corners. Under the grandstand we go. Obviously now we recognise this part of the lap once again, and we are still a little way down the order. Through the final couple of corners we'll go though. Where are we going to end up on the grid? Big moment through the final corner. It is P5. On the one hand, a big positive that David Coulthard has taken pole by almost half a second. On another hand, Ferrari. Are they finally back for the final 5 races of the campaign? Mika Hakkinen there will line up P2. Michael Schumacher will line up between your top 2 in the Drivers' Championship as well there. Villeneuve will qualify P3. We did stay ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the second Williams car. So it is all to play for as we head into the Grand Prix. But boy oh boy is it going to be tough.
Formula One on ITV in association with Texaco.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. The Marina Bay Street Circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Well, here we are then under the night sky, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. Then lots is at stake this weekend, and especially when you head to a new venue for the first time, anything can happen here. Obviously, Coulthard, he's got a great opportunity. Ferrari, they look to be quick around here, but for me, it's pretty simple. We just need to try and beat Jacques Villeneuve, whether that's for first and second or sixth and seventh. Either way, we just want to try and make sure we're ahead of him come the checkered flag. Start just cutting into his admittedly small championship lead. 5 red lights here on the grid. And it's a mighty long hole, but it is lights out and away we go for the inaugural Singapore Grand Prix. There, Hakkinen will try and cover Villeneuve off into turn 1, but won't quite manage it there as Frentzen gets a lightning getaway past myself and Michael Schumacher down at turn 1 and turn 2. Coulthard just trying to open up an early lead there as we all go wheel to wheel with Jos Verstappen off the first couple of corners. Dive it down the inside before we get to the Raffles Boulevard, and just remind him, you know, he's not quite in the same level as us at the moment there as the Williams and the Ferraris go wheel to wheel up in towards turn 5 and turn 6 there. That's Frentzen trying to look for a move on Jacques Villeneuve, so maybe Williams have told their drivers they're allowed to fight. They're allowed to, you know, they're both with a shot of the world title, and Frentzen going to try and make that shot count there as well. Everybody just checks up. So we make our way down in towards what used to be the Singapore Sling, but was after this, and I don't really know. Around the outside of Schumacher, no, not going to happen there. Just did not have the confidence to give me the room on the exit as we head over the Anderson Bridge. So yeah, it really has been Frentzen then that's been the big mover off the start. Coulthard, Hakkinen stay where they are. Frentzen's up 3 places. And then Villeneuve, Schumacher and I have all just lost the 1 to him. So that Williams absolutely flying here. I'd be really intrigued to know what more races would have been like around this venue. With obviously refueling, especially with these V10 cars. Could have been a really, really interesting race of strategy. But yeah, we've just got to try and settle in. Got to try and make sure that we get up to speed while in the car. Just don't make a mistake. I mean, Schumacher, we saw it at Monza last weekend. That Ferrari really struggles to find its apexes. Luckily, he's got plenty of speed back down towards turn 1. But he's just never quite figured out that car at the moment, Michael Schumacher. And, well, I will absolutely capitalise on it. That Ferrari can be quick when it's working, but it just doesn't work very well. I really, really need to get braver with underfueling the car inside this game. Must have been the first Grand Prix in at least the last 4 where we haven't seen a safety car on lap 1. So hopefully we might just get clean green flag running throughout most of the evening here. But yeah, Hakkinen then is already starting to slow down those 2 Williams cars as well, which works really nicely because it means Coulthard can try and break free at the front of the order. As there we go, new fast lap of the day then, as here goes Frentzen to the outside of Hakkinen in towards turn 1. Not going to be able to pull that off there, and now suddenly we are breathing down the neck of Jacques Villeneuve, Ferrari, Williams and McLaren. This was the iconic battles of the early 2000s, and I absolutely love to see it. I don't love to see that wall. Away we go. Oh, Villeneuve, I thought about it. I thought about it over the Anderson Bridge, but kind of figured if he turns in, well then that's both our races ruined very, very early on here, and I feel like we've got a better opportunity than the Williams today, so maybe he's learnt from his battles with Schumacher towards the end of the 1990s, but yeah, for me, it is really, really important that we try and make sure that we finish this race. So you just see how much Hakkinen is struggling in that second Ferrari. It's all, well, it's got too much power for its own good, that car. He just cannot get it slowed down. into the apexes, and after years of struggles with McLaren, Häkkinen's gone to Ferrari, and it's just the same story all over again. It's got to be where we try and get the run, though, on Villeneuve at that final corner. We don't quite have the same straight line speed as the Williams car there, but yeah, we're just kind of waiting for Häkkinen to trip over himself again. Just back these two up, and then hopefully we can try and make a move. Well, Häkkinen then is running about a second slower than I can in clear air right now, so who knows what kind of pace Coulthard's setting. He's already gone up at the front of the order, so I could be tempted to try and undercut, but ultimately the overcut as well works pretty nicely inside this game because the tyre wear is so low. I think it would just depend on when we're going to start seeing the AI pit. Worst case scenario is that one of the Williams tries to undercut Häkkinen, then we might be in big trouble. I think if none of these guys dive into the pit lane then at the end of the lap, we're going to take the gamble. We're going to try and push for the undercut here because Häkkinen, well, we've just had a new notification through that Coulthard is setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Oh, and Häkkinen's the one that does pit. So that's really annoying for us then. So Frentzen now is going to be out and released. And you can immediately see just how quickly the Williams try and go for it. But yeah, that does not bode well for us. I wonder when they're going to pit. And obviously they'll be trying to get the undercut on Häkkinen as well. Frentzen and Villeneuve have both just unleashed the pace then. So we are now just trying to keep up with them. So we make our way through these final couple of corners. Will we see one of those Williams cars into the pit lane? No, we won't. So Williams have got a good idea with the strategy as well. Coulthard's dived in, so going to be up into the podium places. But yeah, immediately though, onto a 1:47.3. It's only about 4/10 off what our teammate's fastest lap is. Well, we're having to get a little bit creative with the fuel modes we're using at the moment. We've actually got a just complete redundancy of fuel there, but trying to mix it up between rich and medium revs there, just to make sure that we get the traction on the exits of corners, but that we can also get the power down in a straight line. So yeah, it's a bit of a gamble. It's quite a lot of work, but it is allowing me to go quicker than those two Williams cars in front. I'm just waiting for them to pit. We wouldn't be able to get out ahead of the likes of Fisichella and Barrichello. I've got no idea whether Coulthard is potentially getting slowed down by some traffic as well. So this might really work for your top three, and that might as well. We've lost someone. Oh no, it's Coulthard. We're riding on board then with DC. It's almost going to be 3 wide into turn 1, and Coulthard into the side of the arrows. Chaos behind. I mean, I think he was a bit optimistic in that one, I'll be honest. I think he was just trying to get down the inside of the Jaguar. But he defended from it brilliantly. He had to send it. And well, there we go. That is our first retirements of the evening. I'm surprised that hasn't been a full safety car, because it's taken 5 cars out of this Grand Prix. But we are now green flag racing once again. I was going to gamble it there. If the VSC had stayed out just a bit longer, I would have dived into the pit lane. But I still think, unless we get that gap to Fisichella up to over 20 seconds, I don't think we can afford to pit. But it does always make me chuckle, the fact you come off of the Italian Grand Prix, which is one of the shortest in terms of time on the calendar, and then you come here to Singapore, the lap times are 20 seconds slower. Are we? Is that a thing? Did not know we were doing that. Car looks okay. But obviously, yeah, you come to Singapore, the lap times are 20 seconds slower, and you've got 5 more laps to do in the Grand Prix. So yeah, it's a very much a different kind of test here, but I'm just starting to think the Williams, they might be going really, really long in the first half of the Grand Prix. So I think unless one of them's in now, we're going to go for it. We are going to finally peel into the pit lane, try and work the undercut here, and just see what we can do. Make sure I don't get done for speeding on the way in. I think we might come out behind Fisichella and Barrichello, but hopefully we're going to be ahead of the Ferraris. All I'm thinking is that maybe when Coulthard caused that chaos behind, is that it opened up a bigger gap behind Barrichello, because I believe he was running at about P6. It might have been P7 actually, because Wirtz is right there as well. Need to be ahead of Johnny Herbert though. Do not want to be behind too much slower traffic. And as we make our way then back at the pit lane, got to be really, really careful not to get all 4 wheels out over the white line. But now we need to push Oh, there we go. Fisichella's in. Fisichella's in. So are we now finally start seeing the AI into the pit lane? Villeneuve's into the pits. There he is. There's Jacques Villeneuve. So I did not realise that this was going to be a critical undercut lap in this Grand Prix. There as we run a little bit wide through turn 1, but round the outside we'll go. And ahead of our main championship rival, Jacques Villeneuve. And up into a net P2 then of this Grand Prix. So the undercut is working for us. And now we've got to try and see if we can get past Frentzen as well then. Gonna have to try and defend from Villeneuve down the Raffles Boulevard. We know how quick that Williams is, but just not quite quick enough as no!
The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
Oh, I think one of the Saubers has gone, but that has ruined our chance of an undercut. I can only really see the aftermath of the incident, but yeah, one of the Saubers then, I'm pretty certain that Benetton has just come out of the pit lane, but the Sauber car just running into him, and then, well, that's a rather stupid incident, and that's another one. Yeah, 3 cars out down at the first couple of corners, and Frentzen, well, he will be in control. We've had a mechanical failure. We've had a mechanical failure. We've just come out of this corner. And the engine's gone. No! I thought it was just like a weird glitch or something. That's why I went in to replay it. But, I mean, can we see any smoke out the back of the car or anything? No, I think the gearbox is gone. The gearbox is completely gone in this car. And we can't rewind, we can't flashback, we can't do anything. That was really, really weird here, but yeah, I mean, we didn't hit a wall. I don't believe we hit a wall. So we make our way through. The car's just shut down on me. Yeah, I can see there is smoke out the back. It's only a tiny little bit of exhaust smoke. There, you can just see at the bottom corner. But for the first time ever, I didn't think it was possible in this mod for us to have mechanical failures, but it could not have cost us at a worst possible time.
It's never easy to make it across the finish line here in Singapore, but they've done so with some style here today to take a remarkable victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, somehow, in all of the chaos then, Michael Schumacher comes through for Ferrari's first win of 2001. And of course, we got no idea how he did it there. Jacques Villeneuve in P2 ahead of Frentzen in the end, so gutted for us that championship lead is going to be wide open with just a handful of races to go. Johnny Herbert, a brilliant race in his BAR car to finish 4th ahead of Barrichello and his teammate Kimi Räikkönen. Fisichella, Jan Magnussen, Wirtz and Alonso gets another point on the board with just 11 cars seeing the checkered flag this weekend. Both McLarens, both Saubers, both Arrows, both Jordans, and Mika Hakkinen all failing to see the checkered flag. But that means in terms of the bigger picture, a 26-point deficit now to Jacques Villeneuve to try and overhaul with just 4 races left of the campaign. Schumacher leapfrogs his way straight up into P6 ahead of Fisichella and his brother there, so good result for him. And yeah, every driver still with points on the board. Constructors-wise, Williams, well, they've got one hand on that trophy now, haven't they? As Jaguar and Ferrari both jump Sauber. BAR jump Arrows as well, with that huge haul smaller points, so Arrows will be gutted to be back into P9. But yeah, the first time ever inside this mod that's happened. Like I said, we've done, what, 3.5 seasons, almost 60 races now, and I've never had that before inside this game. Thank you all so much for watching nonetheless. We will come back stronger, and hopefully we can get back in the title fight.